started. I'm going to place it there so it's close to you.
Yep.
Right. Shall we start?
Certainly.
Might as well. Okay. What's your name and what do you do?
My name is Simon James David Brencher. I am the proprietor, leaseholder and landlord of the Greyfriar, Chawton, in Hampshire.
The Greyfriar?
Yes.
How do I know you?
Well, when I first walked into this bar to try and have a little secret recce, you served me. And then I also got served by a young man called Aaron, who decided to go for a pee very loudly in the middle of the service, who's still with me. And yeah, you showed me around the private dining room under the pretence I was going to have a birthday party here. Yeah, and then when I actually took over, I went, I know you. And then you said, I'm leaving. So you left. But then you've come back on a couple of occasions to help out and, get us through difficult times.
That's all because I can't really laugh in this interview.
Okay, fine.
But I'm just going to laugh silently.
That's
here.
right.
I can just cut it anyway.
Yeah.
So that the audience would see what I see. Physically describe yourself.
Devastatingly handsome. Rugged good looks. Bit of rough in the gay community, I'm known as. Sort of a olive skin, Germanic features, bright blue eyes, and a beard of momentous proportions. Bit thin on top.
Great. That's really
stocky as well.
Where do you live?
I live above the pub, which has its benefits and its hindrances. The hindrance being that there's no soundproofing, so I hear every bloody thing that goes on. I can hear a person fart from 50 yards. And the benefits, I've got a pub downstairs.
That is a huge benefit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who do you live with?
I live with my wife, Norma, who's a vet, Spanish lady that I met working as a waitress for me. Not very professional, but it happened. I'm with my 6-year-old son, Iago, who is a whirlpool and a whirlwind of fun and joy. 2 lurchers, Gringo and Bowie, and 2 cats, Momo and Aslan. And probably a ghost, whose name I don't know.
We'll talk about the ghost later on.
Certainly.
Wait, how did you know me?
So Norma walked into my restaurant in Strada in Regent Street, central London, just opposite Hamleys. I'm looking for a job as a waitress. She could hardly speak English, had no experience, but I fancied the pants off her. So I gave her the job. 3 months later we were together, and that was, 2003.
3 months.
Yeah,
Wow.
3 months of hard work. Well, look at her, look at me.
Right.
Yeah. I'm batting above my weight.
It's great. Let's just make sure it's recording.
Yeah, I'm going to grab a glass of water as well.
Go for it.
Do you want water?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Is it recording?
Yes, it is recording.
No problem. Go.
Okay. What did you do before owning this pub?
I worked in restaurants and bars for many, many years. Fell into the profession, didn't plan to be in it. I was in a circus, money was bad, that's another story. got a bar job in a heavy metal nightclub in Manchester called Rockworld. Ended up being the manager of the cocktail bar, the cocktail being snakebite and blackcurrant. And then came back down to London with the circus. And to make ends meet, just worked in different bars. Ended up working in a cocktail bar. Ended up managing the cocktail bar, then working in restaurants. And via that, worked for Michelin star chef Atul Kutcher, worked for Gordon Ramsay and many numerous places like that. Sold my soul to the industry. Never wanted to do it, just did it.
Oh, okay. That's great. Gordon Ramsay, can you tell me more about that?
Gordon, well, he's a pussycat, really. Lovely chap. I met him on a few occasions. He was more focused on America when I worked for the company. I was there when his father-in-law got sacked and nearly sent to prison for embezzling funds. One occasion I did have contact with Gordon was one Sunday night. I'd left work, thought I'd left the ship in a nice stable state, went home to sit down. I was watching Midwives, I believe, with the wife, reading a book, and the phone rang. Didn't recognise the number, so I didn't answer it. Phone rang again, didn't recognise the number, so I didn't answer it. Phone rang a third time, the wife said, pick up the phone. I was like, okay. Hi, Simon speaking, who's this? Gordon. Gordon who? Gordon fucking Ramsay! Phone about a foot from my... Oh, hi, Gordon, how are you? So basically what happened, I'd left the pub. We'd run out of a bit of food, which happens on a Sunday. My assistant manager, in infinite wisdom, was talking to a guest, saying we'd run out of this. And he said, why haven't you got any food? And Ron saying we'd run out of food, which was the truth. She said, our freezer broke down. Which one indicates our food's frozen, and two, that we don't have good maintenance. So this person happened to be a Sun reporter that went on Twitter and hashtagged Gordon. Gordon's seen the Twitter, contacted the managing director of the whole company saying, give me the number for the fucking manager of the Greyfriar, and gave me a personal rollicking over the phone. 3 days later, just done a disciplinary with my assistant manager for putting me in the shit and bringing the company in disrepute. Gave her a warning, nothing more severe, don't do it again. As she's literally left the office, my phone's gone again, and now I've got his number. It says Gordon Ramsay. I'm like, oh, hi. Hi, Gordon, how are you? Fine. How's everything there? Yeah, great, thanks. Just let you know, Rupert Murdoch and Rebecca Lewis is coming for lunch today. Don't mention the fucking freezer. That was 3 days before they got done. By the Sun, the editor of the Sun got done for whatever it was, like tapping phones and all that sort of stuff. So and I was like, no problem. He says, it is a problem. Of course it's a problem. It's my business. But I've met him subsequently. He was a lovely guy. But that was my first real experience of Gordon.
Was it the first and last?
No. The second one was the marathon used to come. London Marathon used to come past my pub.
Oh right.
And one day he burst his knee joint and stopped at the pub. And subsequently got jumped by about 10,000 people going, Gordon, Gordon. I've never seen... So I took him into my very small office and called him a water taxi and got a water taxi down to Chelsea and then Wandsworth from there. So that was the second time I met him. But no, he was lovely. In all honesty, he was a lovely guy.
Damages the...
But he cares. He cares about his business. That's all I'd like to say. Yeah.
That's really great. That's great. Okay, circus.
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
So, I was working in London in a post office, behind the counter, doing pensions, giving out gyros, selling stamps, gaining weight, drinking about 8 pints a day, 4 for lunch and 2 every break time. And then got myself in a little bit of trouble, lady trouble. And
Norma?
No, way before then. This is 1989. And the father of the lady got quite angry and started basically threatening my family unless I left London. So I moved to Manchester to stay with my family in Manchester. This person who was threatening my family had relations or had been known to the Crays and whatnot. So not a nice character. So I was forced out of London, moved to Manchester, stayed with my aunt in Moss Side, which is a lovely area. At the time it was a police no-go area. All you saw were riot vans, never saw a policeman. Spent some time with her, ended up working in a heavy metal nightclub, met a girl, took her back to my auntie's. She chucked me out for bringing the girl back. So I ended up living in a squat in a place called Hume, in an abandoned council estate that we maintained. and we lived there. We didn't pay rent, but we paid electricity, gas. We built half skateboard, half pipes in flats and stuff like that. Anyway, one day the circus came to town, did an open audition. I knew nothing about it. Got woken up with the worst hangover I've probably ever had. No, that's a lie, I've had much worse. Just a hangover. And my squat mate said, we're going to audition for the circus. And I was like, okay, let's do it. So we went to a building site in, where was it? I think it was Salford. Yeah, just Salford, just outside Manchester. Got there was about 400 people. The circus was our Chaos, at the time the biggest circus in Europe, known throughout the world. REM wrote a song about them, about the Pierre Bidot, used to hypnotise chickens. It's one of the lines of their songs. So, yeah, it was quite a big deal. I'd never heard of them, but everybody else had. So they basically said, right, audition, we want you to be violent but funny. So my squat mate was about 6'4", wore glasses, looked like a Viking, but was a pussycat. I'd done martial arts and gymnastics for years, so I was quite lithe. So I just knocked these glasses off, and he went mental and tried to attack me, and I sort of climbed all over him and slapped him about, and we just basically, had a play fight. Thought, right, that's it, we're not getting in the circus. So after 2 hours of watching other people, what I thought were exceptionally talented, they went, right, you over there, and there was 13 of us in this pile, and they went, you're in the circus. So that was it, I was in the circus. That day, went to a call box, I had 5 pence to my name. I literally had no money, 5 pence to my name. Went to a call box, thought, better tell my mum. Put 5p in the call box, phoned my mum. Hi, mum, how are you? I'm fine. Started asking me about what's going on. I'm like, Mum, I've got something to tell you, please, wait. And, yeah, but how's your aunt doing? Yeah, she's fine. Mum, I've just joined the circus. And it went beep. And then I didn't speak to her for 2 weeks because there were no mobile phones. So, yeah, joined the circus. I was with them up in Manchester. We did a month there. Intense rehearsals, every day, 3 times rehearsing, because it was very dangerous. There were chainsaws, there were cars. I was being used as a ramp by a motorbike. Eventually ended up doing a comedy trapeze act, because one night after the show we all got drunk and took some acid. And the guy from the show was like, let's all have a go on the trapeze. So got up, climbed up the little ladder, got to the trapeze, the actual trapeze, realised I'm really scared of heights. That's when my first fear manifested, and it's never gone since. And what I didn't realise also is that the pole, you can't reach it, you've got to jump. So I had to leap and grab the pole, and then my hands just clasped and I couldn't let go. I just ended up hanging, and eventually the trapeze stopped and I was just literally hanging there, and they were saying let go, and I'm like, I physically couldn't let go. So they built a human pyramid, including dwarves, and managed to drag me down. And Pierre Bidot, the next woman, Simon, can you do this every night? So every night I'd dress up as a trapeze artist, go up there, fail miserably, they'd build a human pyramid, drag me down, and then the real trapeze artist would come on. So yeah, it was one of those things. It was random, but it was very highly disciplined. Like I say, there's cars, motorbikes, chainsaws, explosions, stuff like that. So joined in Manchester, then we went to Dublin, where we had a tragedy. The head dwarf died from a heart attack. The head clown got a blood infection, and our tent blew down. We were told the land we were putting the tent on was cursed. We ignored that. To this day, I'm not a big believer in these things, but obviously something went wrong. So we came back to London. We came to London, not back to London. Came to London. We had to buy a new tent. The tent wasn't insured, so that was £500,000 just for a tent. Put the prices up. So we did Wembley Stadium car park, not the stadium. But you know, we sold out there, and then we moved to Battersea Power Station and did it in the grounds there. But we just couldn't make enough money. Circus went to France, back to Paris. I stayed in London, although I was offered a permanent position. And they went bust 2 weeks later. And there you go, that was that circus. But, you know, at the time, it was the biggest circus in the world, if not, well, definitely Europe, if not the world. And because of us, there's Circus Soleil. They came from us. We're the fathers of Circus Soleil.
That's really good. That's really good. Right, okay, moving on.
Yeah.
Wait, when did you start thinking of owning a pub?
I think since I started working in bars and restaurants, excuse the hoovering. Since I've been working in bars and restaurants, literally since almost probably the first week, I've always thought my bosses were idiots and that I could do a better job. And the only way to do that is to have your own pub. So I've pretty much for 20 odd years, since 1990, so yeah, 28 years, I've been thinking about getting my own place. Always a bit scared of doing it though, because it is a big responsibility and the buck stops with you. So eventually we were going to move to Spain and open a B&B because the wife's Spanish. But the economy collapsed there, so my wife said, why don't we do something here? And we bit the bullet, and here I am at the Greyfriar. Do I regret it? Some days. Am I happy? Some days. Let's call it a roller coaster of emotion and bank balances.
Yeah. So this is your first pub
that I've owned. This is the first pub I've owned. Yeah.
Okay. How did you find this place?
So that's another long story. Well, it's not that long a story. So, like I say, the wife said, let's get a pub or let's get something in the country. A pub with rooms was originally the idea. So we wanted to be close enough. We didn't want to be in London because I've spent my life working in London. We wanted to be near the M25. My family live in North London, so we were looking, although it's not North London, we were looking at Surrey, Sussex, Hampshire, Buckinghamshire, Hertfordshire. First pub we looked at was in Sussex, 4 bedrooms, 4 letting rooms, lovely pub. We put an offer in. They said yes. 3 days later, they said no. They decided to stay there. So start the search again. Then a pub called the George in Alton came up. So I went to see them. I had a meeting, then took the wife, and we thought, okay, this is a good place. The flat upstairs was lovely. Put an offer in. They said yes. 3 days later, they said no, we're going to stay. So the estate agent that found us, George, went, look, there's another one come up. It's not on the market yet. Why don't you have a look? It's near the George. And it was the Greyfriar. So on a Saturday, we came down. We saw the Greyfriar, sat down and met Jai. And I met Aaron. And they didn't know who I was. I had lunch. And I was like, this is a tourist pub. There's lots of old people. Obviously, it's near the museum. I imagine it's 2 sort of businesses together. And I wasn't sure, to be honest. I wasn't sure. I was like, it's okay. Not sure about it. Next day, we looked at 2 other pubs near Reading. One, I was like, this is the pub. It was called The Bull. It was free of tie in a lovely village where the Middletons lived. It had bedrooms. It was packed. It was beautiful. And I was like, this might be the one. So I arranged the following week to come give this one another look on a Thursday morning and then go there. So I met the previous owner, Trevor, at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I drove into the village and went, this is the place. It just clicked. So I came in, met him, saw the business for real. Thought it was a bit tatty, but it's definitely there and I could see the potential. Then we went to the pub that I loved. I walked in and went, this place is wrong. This isn't right. And after talking to the owner there, I thought, that's not the one. And so it was the Greyfriar. And that was it. I put an offer in 2 days later and it was accepted. Had my hand bitten off.
That's great. The next question actually is just describing to me the process when this place up to when you decided you're going to buy this pub, but you obviously said that already.
Cool.
Anything that convinced you? Or was it just like?
It was. I think it was the village as a whole. It was the air about the place. It seemed like a good place to be. The building's lovely, a bit old, a bit creaky. But I suppose it's a typical country pub. The museum's there, so you got sort of a guaranteed bit of income.
Yeah.
It was just the feel. You got sometimes instinct's the right thing, and that was the instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Instincts aren't always right, but hey,
here we are.
You live by them.
Okay. About halfway.
That's all right.
Now that you've bought the pub. Okay. What were your plans for the pub?
What were my plans, or what are my plans?
Well, both.
Okay, well, my plans is hopefully to raise the profile of the food and make it a bit more destination, which I think we have done, but it's just getting the news out there. Basically, it's Yeah, just to raise the profile, make it more interesting, have a good drink offering, a good food offering. One thing I've done throughout my life working in restaurants and bars is be proud of what I do and try and be at the forefront of it. And I don't do anything unless I enjoy doing it myself. I won't put a new product in if I don't believe in the product. Obviously, there's some products that I'm tied to, so I've got no choice. But yeah, so I'm passionate about what we sell and how we sell it. And so that's how I want to move it. I want to move it in that direction. We're getting there slowly. Dinner bookings are growing. I'm not relying on a museum, but yeah, obviously it brings that bit. But yeah, that's the idea. Turn it into a destination restaurant.
Yeah. Anything physically?
Well, hopefully we're going to have a bit of a refurb. Me and the wife have done what we can. After this, I'll be phoning my business development manager to see what's happening. So we're going to be taking up the carpets, putting down wooden floors. We're going to strip back the beams to natural wood, redecorate throughout. Make it a bit more of a contemporary yet traditional venue.
Right. What have you done so far?
Well, we've got rid of the red walls, which I disliked from the moment I walked in. We've changed the private dining room. We ripped up the floor carpet ourselves, took up one corner, looked beautiful, took up the rest of the carpet, realised that the floorboards were, excuse my language, fucked. So we literally, that night, with wire brushes, scrubbed the whole floor, then varnished it. I couldn't walk for a week afterwards. I'd done my ankle in. We've done bits and bobs, changed the chalkboards, painted. We've done what we can, but there's only so much money you can spend when it's not your actual property.
Yeah. Okay. It's your first day.
Mm-hmm.
What were your expectations?
I actually had quite low expectations because I've got high standards. And I realised if I go in expecting those standards from people that don't know my standards, I'd be frustrated and annoyed. So I went in with low expectation. I'd like to say I was pleasantly surprised by the effort by the majority of the staff, and people got it quite quickly what I was trying to do. The ones that didn't are no longer with me. That doesn't include you, Jake, you left. I'm talking more about the chef at the time and stuff like that. My expectations were low. When it came to takings, I was expecting more money in the summer this year, but then I've realised that last year was an exceptional summer, so it's now I had to rejig how I was going to push the business and make it work. So, but yeah.
Right. Okay. So, can you describe to me your first night?
Well, my first night was the night before I got the pub. I came down. Did I bring my dog? No, I didn't. I came down with a suitcase because I was going to spend the night upstairs in the lovely accommodation that it wasn't, and meet all the regulars and have a drink. So I proceeded to meet all the regulars and have a drink and realise that they like a drink, including Aaron. You there that night?
I was.
Yes, and I won't name names, but a woman that of a much older age, and Aaron proceeded to flirt with each other till 2:00 in the morning, which I found very bizarre. But yeah, that's bygones now, and I'm sure you won't appreciate me mentioning it, so I won't say any more.
It's up to you if you want to mention names.
I don't think I should. I'd love to, but I don't think I should. Oh dear, they know who they are. But so the first night was okay, meeting lots of people who all had an opinion how the pub should be run. All think they could run a pub if they had one, but have never done so. And those people still tell me how I should run my pub. So nothing's really changed in a year and a half. Yeah, and I nod, I smile, and I ignore what they say. That's being a landlord, basically.
Okay. Okay, that's good. The first day business is done.
Yeah.
First day. It's just you and the pub.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
What the hell have I done? It was fear, and generally fear, only because now it was my business. Now it all came down to me. Was it how I wanted it to be? Was the food where I wanted it to be? Was the drink right? None of it was right for what I really wanted. I didn't expect it to be right on the first day, but it was fear. It was absolute terror at some point, and then that probably didn't leave, and it probably still doesn't go, because you wake up one day and there's a bill you don't expect. There's a VAT bill. There's wages to pay, and every week you're like, are we going to make enough money to meet ends meet? So it's fear, but if there wasn't, that's also excitement. Fear and excitement are very close to each other, and they tend to come hand in hand.
Mm.
And joy. There's joy in there sometimes.
In brackets.
Can't remember when. There was one day I think about 6 months ago, I had a good no. It's good.
Okay, great. Right. How long have you been an owner of this pub as of now?
I've been running this pub since August the 30th, 2017, so I believe that's 15 months. And like I say, it's been an eventful 15 months.
If there's anything at all, can you describe to me the best experience so far?
There's actually been quite a few, and it's hard to describe one. The guest chef nights are great because it lets me play my fantasy of having a fine dining restaurant again. And I think just my son running around upstairs, going to a beautiful school with friends, just seeing him run around and be comfortable in the pub's probably one of my best experiences. There's so many, because at one point, even though it is tough, you have good nights, you meet good people, you have people drinking. It's not all about money either. Sometimes they're just really good vibes and everybody enjoys it, the staff, the customers. And that's why I do the business, because it's hospitality. It's a two-way thing. When you've got happy customers, happy staff, and you're happy, it's a lovely thing to happen. That's why I do it, to get those moments. And I'd like to say there was one, but there's been many, so I can't name one.
Yeah, cool. What about the worst experience so far?
They happen on a daily occurrence as well. It's the worst experience are normally caused by frustration, and normally it's frustration with myself or things not going according to plan. I think that's where dissatisfaction comes from, because of caring. And when you care about something or you hope for something and it goes wrong, it affects you. I think that's what the Buddha tried to get away from, was that caring about the world, because eventually there's always disappointment. The best laid plans of men, when they go wrong, it affects you. And like I say, there's a good example, New Year's Eve. I wanted to give everybody a glass of bubbles. I went and bought some Prosecco for everybody. Then to find that one bottle had been sold and no one had been drunk by the staff, so I didn't have enough Prosecco to give everybody. So I got angry. I got angry and was grumpy and threw my toys out the cot and had a go at the staff that night, Aaron. And then thought, right, well, I can't give some people Prosecco and some people not, so I decided not to give any Prosecco at all. But nobody noticed, but I noticed. The customers were happy, they didn't expect anything, but I felt it because I knew what the plan was. So when a plan doesn't go well, that's when it goes wrong. But like I say, it's a daily thing. That's one of the reasons I love it as well, the joy and the pain. Maybe I'm a sadomasochist. I don't know.
Okay. Are there any interesting story about this pub that you have found out?
Right, well, there's plenty of interesting stories and lots of gossip about previous owners and stuff like that. But me personally, I think the idea of the ghost is quite an interesting story. I haven't felt any malice or any badness since I've been here. I've not had anything shake me in my sleep. I haven't had weird noises, but my mum has when she stayed. She can't sleep at night because of noises that I don't hear. I think she's as mad as a fruitcake. On Christmas last year, my brother-in-law made a video, a pretend ghost video that he just took the camera around, thought nothing of it, and about 6 months later was about to delete the video, then watched it, and an arm appeared in shot and quickly disappeared. Who knows? Was it a ghost? I don't know. Was it a reflection? But it looked like a Victorian sort of, or Regency sort of dress arm. Again, I've never had any sensations. The cats don't flare up, the dogs don't react. But speaking to previous landlords, they all say there was a ghost here. Just downstairs in this room, apparently. And people have seen stuff. And I used to be a strong believer in the supernatural. I don't know if I've become cynical. I'm not cynical, I'm Fortean. I'm open-minded, but nothing has happened to me. But it seems to happen to everybody else. Oh, well, I say nothing's happened to me. And one busy Friday night, a glass flew off a counter, and then 2 seconds later, another glass exploded in the bar, which was quite... And everybody's like, oh, it's a ghost. I don't know what it was. I have seen a glass flip and spray the ceiling. Oh, look. I don't know if that was... just seen ceilings covered in beer. Anyway, I've never noticed that before.
There's splatter bed.
Yeah, there's a spatter all over the ceiling. Never seen that. Who's done that? I bet that was during the World Cup. Anyway, so yeah, I have seen a glass flip. But is it a ghost? Was it a slippy bar? Was it coincidence? Was it a mini earthquake that nobody could feel? I don't know.
All right, the ghost then.
Yeah.
Story of the ghost. Right. Any favourite customer?
Favourite customers. I don't have favourites. That'd be unfair. I'm like a father to these people. There's some customers that guests, I like to call them, not customers, guests. There's some guests that I would say now are friends. Yeah. A lot of them I am very wary of, and I don't let myself down, but only because they don't let themselves down either. I keep myself to myself, unless I get to trust people. So there's a couple of people, with kids that go to Yago school that I consider friends. Yeah, but I try not to get involved too heavily with guests, not customers, guests. Yeah, you never know what will happen when that happens. They assume things that they shouldn't assume. Let's put it that way.
Shady.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's the funniest thing that has happened here in the pub so far?
Funniest thing that's happened in the pub so far? Wow, that's a question. Funniest thing. Wow. Funniest thing that's happened.
It's funny, haha, not funny.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think funny, haha. There's been lots of times of laughter. It's just normally drunken customers doing stupid stuff that we laugh at behind their backs. It's not very nice.
Yeah.
Funniest thing so far. I mean, Aaron is a constant source of entertainment. In the best way. He's always come out with stuff that is just wrong and mixing up his words. But yeah, funny. There's lots of fun to be had, but I can't think of a funny moment. If that makes any sense. I can't think of one funny moment. Nothing slapstick. I'm trying to think if anybody fell over. That's not quite funny. No, I can't think of the funniest moment. I apologise.
That's fine. That's good. That's the content. Okay. What's the most bizarre?
Most bizarre thing that's ever happened here.
Morris dancing?
Morris dancing, yeah, we've had Morris dances. That is bizarre. That's very country. I mean, we get them in London, but out here it's very special. It's a very special village. There's lots of country folk with country folk kind of ideas. I think, yeah, Yeah, a lot of Brexiteers that I think are hilarious. They're funny. That's a country thing. The Brexiteers, they're taking away our jobs, and like, there's not a black person in sight in this. They should be in London, where everybody wants to stay and remain, and where it's multicultural. Yeah, I think the lack of multicultural is one of the bizarrest things for me, coming from a London background where it's just accepted to come into a non-multicultural society. That's one of the bizarrest things.
What's been the most challenging day?
Most challenging day?
Or experience?
Yeah. Wow. That's a daily account. No, it's not a daily account. In all honesty, I mean, it's every day has a different challenge. I've never had, in this pub, a day when I've wanted to give up or roll up in a corner and cry. I've had that many experiences in many other pubs, but not in this one. We've managed to always find a way round stuff. There are times when I've had very frustrating services where people had to wait an hour for food for what I think is no reason, and those are challenges when you've got a restaurant full of people and they're all unhappy. One particular one the staff will remember, I think, for the rest of their lives, because I may have got a bit angry. And I manifested my anger in a slow hand clap in the kitchen. Well done, everyone. And I think even now they're still a bit scared of me when I clap. I think I'm used to working in environments with very, very volatile chefs, and I mean Gordon Ramsay is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a guy called Stuart Gillis that was a well-known animal. A chap called Fernando Stovell, who I've seen hang a chef up on a meat hook in a fridge, not by his flesh, by his jacket, and headbutt another chef. I'm talking about serious, heavy-duty animals that I've worked with. And maybe I've sort of picked up some of that sometimes, and I don't mean to, but when I do go, I think the staff get very... I hope they're not scared of me, because I don't think I'm a scary guy, but they don't like to see me angry. Nobody likes to see me angry, especially me. It's not nice. But I don't shout and scream. I just get even.
Okay. Biggest problem you've encountered?
Biggest problem I've encountered? Here, at this pub, or any pub?
Either.
Well, the biggest one I've ever done, and I call it my Dunkirk moment, was the Narrow, Gordon Ramsay, marathon day. We expected to take £40,000 in one day. I had 4 bars set up. I had extra staff in. I was hiring staff from outside that I knew. We had a hog roast going. My head chef at the time spent the night at the pub to get hog roast ready. 6 o'clock in the morning, get a phone call. There's no electricity. So I drove down. This is marathon day, biggest day of the year. Drove down, got there, no electricity. Called an electrician, no electricity. So we had to do a £40,000 day with no electricity. We had no cookers, no fridges. Basically, the power cable had blown, but it was underneath the marathon route, so they couldn't fix it. So the whole street had gone down. So basically, by the end of the day, we were selling toast because that's all we had left. I was having to give away food. We had people complaining, customers going, well, we booked the table. I'm like, well, we've got no electricity. There's nothing. Why have Gordon not paid the bills? You can fuck right off, basically. Yeah, that was the most challenging day. And yeah, that's my Dunkirk moment. And do you know what? Ever since that day, nothing has been able to faze me as that much. There's always a solution. There's always a way around it. There's always a way to make it happen. If you run out of electricity, there's gas. There's always ways. But yeah, that was the biggest challenge I've ever had to face. And we got through it, and we got very, very drunk afterwards. I asked the police to close my pub. I said, look, because there was literally thousands of people. And I spoke to the police and said, look, can you just close our pub? Say it's a danger because we can't do it anymore. And he closed our pub. And we didn't take 40,000 because it was impossible. We took 25 in one day with no electricity and a barbecue. So it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my biggest challenge. I've not had to face anything like that here. Yet. Yet.
Okay. Right, the last 3 questions.
Okay.
For today.
Yeah.
Any lesson you've learned while you're owning this pub?
Yeah, nothing's easy. Nothing is given. Don't expect stuff to happen because it won't. Always be ready for the unexpected. I just learned that in this pub. I learned that in general in business. But when you own your own business, your own pub, you can't expect things to work and rely on them to work. You've got to be ready for any changes. Yeah, and don't spend more money than you've got. Which I did when I first got here.
Okay, is that your advice as well?
My advice is, yeah, be ready, be prepared. Don't have every eventuality in your head. You know, sometimes you can't think of a way around things, but, you know, generally I'd say we get round everything here. We've done it.
Okay. Right, last question. Any last words?
Last words. God, I feel like this. It's like...
Not of your life.
Not in my life, yeah. I just, you know, I think running a pub is a lot harder now than it used to be. There's so much against you, business rates going up, breweries basically taking all your money. The more success you have, the more money it takes, so it's very hard to make success. Gone are the days when the landlord drives around a Mercedes or Tesla, unless they got another job. You know, it's a tough business, but it's a great business. And unless you love doing this thing, unless you love serving people, not even like you've got to love it, unless you love serving people, love seeing people enjoy their food and drink, unless you enjoy being hospitable, just don't do it. But if you do enjoy those things, be ready for a hard journey, but the rewards, you know, a good TripAdvisor, a good review can make everybody's day, including the staff. You know, I share them with the staff, good and bad. So yeah, it's worthwhile when you see happy people leave customer, when people say thank you. It's strange how important that is. So that's, you know, probably going back to one of the other questions, that's what I want to happen here. I want this place to be a place where people walk out and go, wow, that was great service, that was great food, that was a great drink, that was great hospitality. So yeah, don't do this unless you love it, because it will kill you.
Okay, that's good. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you
For that, Simon.
It's all right. I feel like I've been for a therapy session. I've got it all off my chest.
That's just the last bit of it. Thank you very much. Yeah. Basically, yeah. This all questions I can think of as of now.
That's fine.
Actually. So,
well, you've got any others? Just let me know.
Yeah. If I do come up with some more questions,
Yeah.
I'll have a look at this tonight. And yeah, if you're free, then I'll come back.
Yeah, of course, anytime.
Cool.
You got enough material?
We'll see. How did it last? 43 minutes.
Well.